US President Donald Trump has said that he has told Apple CEO Tim Cook that he is not interested in the company building in India. Trump's remarks came while he was addressing the Gulf Cooperation Council's meeting in Doha. President Trump was in Qatar for the second leg of his West Asia visit. Trump said that he told Cook that India can take care of themselves. Remember, Apple in February had announced that it would invest $500 billion in the United States over the next 4 years. However, government sources have told CNBC-TV18 that Apple has assured Indian government that it proposes to continue to have India as a major manufacturing base for its products. Adds that there is no change in Apple's investment plans in India.
I had a little problem with Tim Cook yesterday. I said to him, Tim, you're my friend. I treated you very good. You're coming in with $500 billion, but now I hear you're building all over India. I don't want you building in India. You can build in India if you want to take care of India, because India is one of the highest tariff nations in the world. It's very hard to sell into India. And they've offered us a deal where basically they're willing to literally charge us no tariff. I said, Tim, look, we've treated you really good. We put up with all the plants that you built in China for years. Now you got to build us. We're not interested in you building in India. India can take care of themselves. They're doing very well.
All right, let me go across to Ambassador Kanwal Sibal, India's former Foreign Secretary and Ambassador to the United States as well, and KP Fabian, India's former Ambassador to Qatar. Thank you very much for joining us. Ambassador Sibal, let me just begin with Trump's remarks. Over the last few days, Trump has been surprising us. Of course, again, today perhaps for the fourth or fifth time, he said that, yes, I mediated between India and Pakistan. This could have been a bad situation. I want to trade with both nations. But what was more stark when he said that I have told Tim Cook that, I don't care about your investments in India or manufacturing in India. You can do that, but when it comes to the United States, you should manufacture in US for US. This comes at a time when Apple was actually looking to deepen production in India for the US market itself, move all the iPhone production here. How do you read these remarks in the context of what has been happening also with India and Pakistan?
A couple of things. Trump is extremely loose with facts. He says what comes to his mind. He digests details extremely poorly. As part of this clip which you played, he also had said that the United States is 30th in the number of countries, in the list of countries that export to India, which is absolutely wrong. United States is number 4. Our biggest importing countries are China, after that Russia because of the oil thing, then UAE, and then United States, over 41 or whatever $billion. So he's wrong on a very basic fact. And then he's got this in his mind, this bugbear of his, that India is the tariff king. He keeps repeating that. And then he sort of misleads everybody and himself by saying that in the talks that our delegation has had with the United States, we have agreed to zero tariff. It's just not possible. What we've agreed to are the terms of reference. Can you imagine India saying zero tariff on agricultural goods? No way. But he just misleads himself. He misleads the public. He misleads the audience. He misleads the United States of America. He misleads the Indian government and public also by saying all these kinds of things. And then this thing about Tom Cook and Apple and everything else. Now, I don't know to what extent the American industry will be browbeaten by Trump into changing its global policies, manufacturing policies. I don't think that the United States government is like the Chinese government or like Xi Jinping. He could give a kick in the butt to Alibaba and everybody else and make them do what he wanted. The US multinational corporations have global worldwide interests. They have to look at the bottom line insofar as their shareholders are concerned. And if Tim Cook has taken the decision to shift the manufacturing from China to India, this was because of the tariff war between United States and China, and also the prospects of entering the Indian market, where the spread of internet and use of smartphones is phenomenal in India. Maybe barring China, no other country in the world with the kind of numbers we have. And therefore, Apple is not just going to wash its hands simply because of the obsession of Trump. And if Tim Cook has promised to invest in the next 4 years $500 billion in the United States, that should satisfy Trump. And this dismissive way of talking about India, let India take care of itself and this and that and that. No regard for the sensitivity of the Indian leadership, the political repercussions of what he says. The fact that we are discussing this as a result of his callous and ill thought out remarks. He should be more mature, but he just gets carried away and he says whatever comes to his mind. He thinks he can do all this with impunity. It's unfortunate, but having said all that, we have to take this with a pinch of salt, because we've seen that he does all kinds of things and then he walks back, and he's not afraid of walking back on what he's been saying publicly. So therefore, we should not get too flustered. Wait and humor him and have a focus and continue to deal with the U.S. multinational corporations.
Very important point, sir, because you have to make sure that they take their business interests, and it's not so easy. Even if he wants Apple to go ahead and manufacture in the US, it's not so simple. There is a reason why Apple has gone abroad to countries like China and Indonesia, places like Vietnam, to manufacture or get their components from. It was not making supply chain sense to do so in America. Let me also get an Ambassador Fabian at this point. Ambassador Fabian, I'll come to what Donald Trump is looking to get from Qatar, from UAE and Saudi Arabia in a bit. But what would be the lesson with the manner in which Donald Trump has acted whole of last week with reference to India and Pakistan? He clearly is being seen, and we're seeing this in Middle East also. He's looking to say good things about any leader in any country which is willing to invest in America, which is willing to support MAGA or throw in billions and billions of dollars. Now, how should India deal with this? What should be the lesson for India vis-a-vis Donald Trump in the months to come?
Thank you. I think we have to understand the psychology of President Donald Trump. He is actually a real estate tycoon who has succeeded, and I give credit to him for getting re-elected into the White House. Now, second thing is that his choice of words is not always, what shall I say, lucid or correct. He said that he was mediating between India and Pakistan. Well, as we all know, mediation is possible only when two parties who are having a dispute or are at war ask or agree to a third party doing the mediation. Now, in this case, India never agreed to accept it or ask for it. So mediation was wrong. At the same time, I believe we should give him credit, because after Pakistan got beaten by India in a military sense very badly, it was in a dilemma what to do. Should it escalate? Should it de-escalate? Or should it ask for a ceasefire? And when Pakistan was in that dilemma, President Trump or his vice president or his secretary of state, it doesn't matter, America pushed Pakistan in the right direction, namely ask for ceasefire. And then what happened?
Right.
We told America that is good, but let Pakistan tell us. And Pakistan told us through the DGMO channel, and we agreed. So there was no mediation.
Absolutely.
Now, coming to Apple, if I may say a word, you see, President Trump will be there for another 3 years plus. Now, investment, CEOs, company CEOs, they take a long-term view. Now, what President Trump is actually saying, again, not exactly not to invest in India, but don't invest in India and think you can export to America. That is what he is saying. Now, the thing is this, we do not know whether that threat will be carried out. As Ambassador Sibal said, we cannot always be sure what he will do tomorrow. But having said that, let me say that Apple will continue with its investment in India, because that is a rational decision to take.
All right. So let me get final comments, sir, from both Ambassador Sibal and you. Ambassador Sibal, this three-nation visit to the Middle East, this has also raised a lot of questions about Donald Trump's manner of going around things. But what has he actually got versus what he actually was out to achieve with this Middle East outreach?
Well, judging from press reports, he seems to have achieved quite a lot. Because as you remember, he had already said some weeks ago that Saudi Arabia has promised to invest $600 billion in the United States. And this seems to have been confirmed during his visit. And insofar as Qatar is concerned, at least the reports say that they have promised to invest $1.2 trillion in the United States. Now, this includes buying a lot of Boeing planes, in fact, the biggest contract for Boeing planes in history, apparently, as well as in the areas of defense, and I'm talking of both countries, artificial intelligence and what have you, energy too. So he seems to have achieved a lot, at least on paper, in terms of future investments from these countries in the United States. And he and his people around him are actually indulging in a great deal of self-praise, how Trump's policies of browbeating other countries to invest in the United States so that there can be more job creation in the United States, which has been the single point almost of his campaign. So there's a lot of self-congratulation. And maybe there's some truth in this because these countries would be interested in keeping the United States on their side, and they have a lot of money, and therefore they can invest in the.
Okay, we've completed run out of time, but thank you very much to Ambassador Fabian and you, Ambassador Sibal, for joining us. With that, it's a wrap on this special broadcast. More news and updates right here.